Hey, what's up my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through how I do my color grading. So I actually don't use color lots. I don't know, but I'm not a fan of color lots. Now I'm not saying that color lots are bad, but then I just don't personally use color lots. Though I have some color lots on my PC, but I actually don't use them all the time. I use them probably once in a while when I want to play around with my colors and all that thing. But I actually don't use colors. I do it manually, and it's not really that difficult for me because I've practiced for a while now, and I know the pattern that works very well for me. And I've had a lot of people asking me to show them, like to give them my LUTs and all that stuff. And I continuously tell them that I actually don't use LUTs, and most people don't believe me. So in today's video tutorial, I'm going to be showing you, I'm going to actually take you through how I do my how I do my color grading, and so let's just go right into the PC and I'll take you through. So stick with me and let's do some magic. So here's the image I'm going to be using to take you through my color grading process. Now before we continue, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on the post notification and also leave a comment behind. Let me know what you think about this process. Maybe if you have any questions, you could write it in the comment section. If you have anything you would like me to probably do or something of that sort, also write it in the comment section. Let's get interactive. So back to the color grading process. So this is the already made image. This is the image that I have already color graded. So if I turn off the color grading layer, now I have grouped the color grading, the layers I've put everything into one group and I've named it color. If I open it up, you would see everything that I have done. That's from here, from the levels up to the gradient fill. So I'll just turn this one off, and this is the image. This is how it was after I had done my frequency separation, dodge and burn and everything. And if I turn it back on, this is the color. This is how it was after color grading. So let me just turn this one off and we will do the whole process again. So normally when I'm doing my color grading, the first thing, let me just create a stamp visible layer so that we begin from there. Now the stamp visible layer, it's done by just you hold on to your Control Shift Alt and then you tap on your letter E on the keyboard. And here is my stamp visible layer. So normally when I'm doing my color grading, what I start with is my levels. I start with my levels. You could start with any other process, but I prefer to start with my levels. Now I come down here, then I tap on my effects and I go over to my levels, select my levels. Now what the level does is that the levels enables you to be able to work on your blacks and then your whites. So in this image, for instance, I think my blacks and my whites are a bit okay, nothing really extraordinary. So I'll just move my blacks. Let me move it. I think 4 looks okay. Let me just key in 4. Then when I go to my whites, let's see. Then when I move my whites to this looks a bit too much. I think this is fine. So my whites, I'll leave it at 248. Now this image, the blacks and the whites, they literally don't look overdone or something of that sort. They look okay, so I don't really have to do much to the image. So when I turn it off, when I turn it on and off. Yeah, I think this is okay. I'll just close this. Now I'm done with my levels. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my hue and my saturation. Now I'll go back to the effects, the adjustment layer. Then I'll come to my hue and saturation. I see. I'll tap on my hue and saturation. Now what I want to do with my hue and saturation is that, looking at the image, I feel like her skin looks a bit too red. I don't know if you can notice it, but to me the skin looks a bit too red, so I want to reduce the redness on her skin. So and to do that, I have to use my hue and saturation. So when I open up my hue and saturation, I'll come to my master here, tap on it, then I'll click on my reds, then I'll come to the saturation, then I'll reduce the reds. I'll move my saturation to the left. I'll just move it a bit to about let me see, -9. I think -9 looks good. If I turn it off and if I turn it on, you might not notice it, but there's a little bit of a difference with this hue and saturation. The redness doesn't look that serious. If I turn it off, if you look closely, you see that the image looks red, and if I turn it on again, you see that the redness has reduced. So yeah, that's basically what the hue and saturation does. Like, that's what I normally use it for. If my image looks a bit too pale, then I come and I increase the reds a bit. If my image looks a bit too red, then I reduce my reds a bit. So yeah, that's what I use my hue and saturation for. Now let's close hue and saturation. Then I come and use color lookup. Now with my color lookup, I'll just come down here, then tap on my color lookup. Now someone might say that I say I don't use color LUTs, but then I'm coming to use color lookup. Now these color lookups, I'm using it because this is just the default color lookup. I mean the default LUTs from Photoshop. Now it's not like I bought any LUTs or I created my own LUTs. I sometimes just like the look of the color LUTs that the default Photoshop comes with. So I use it and I do one or two things with it. Yeah, so yeah. So in this particular image, I'm going to use the now basically what I normally do is that I try almost all the basic ones, but there are some particular ones I normally use. I normally use a Kodak, and I normally use these Fuji color LUTs, these ones. So but in this particular image, the one I used was a Fuji 250. I think it was this one. Yeah, I used this one, the Fuji 250D. This particular one, Fuji 250D. Yep. So now after I selected this, if you notice, the image now looks a bit too yellowish, very yellow. But then we'll work on that one later. So after picking my color LUTs, after picking my Fuji 250D, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my color balance. Now in this color balance, what I'm basically going to do is, since my image looks a bit too red, since it looks too yellowish, I want to add a little bit of blues to it to complement with the yellow that the color lookup brought in. So I'll just go to my highlights here. I'll come to the tones, then I'll select highlights. Now in the highlights, I'm going to add blue to it. Now in this yellow, this part that is written yellow, I just hold the slider, then I'll move it towards the blue. I'll move it towards the blue a bit, so about let me see, 10 looks okay. Let me turn it off and I turn it on again. You can see that the yellow doesn't look that prominent like before. It doesn't look too much like before. If I turn it off and I turn it on, if you can notice the difference, now the yellow has reduced. So yeah, I feel like this is much better than before. So I just close my my color balance. Now the next thing I'm going to do again is I'm going to be using my curves. So I just come down here again, then I'll pick my curves layer. Now with the curves too, sometimes I use the RGB to make some effects to my image, but in this particular image, the color lookup that I used has already given me the effect that the RGB would have given me. So this time around, I'm not going to touch my RGB. The only thing I'm going to do is, I still feel like the yellow still looks a bit too much, so I'm going to come again and I'll select blue, because I still want to add a little bit of blue to my image. Now the blue from this one makes the image, it gives it this hazy blue kind of feeling. Yeah, so I'll just come and select the blue, then I'll create a dot, like I'll create a point here just at the top, then I'll create another one here in the middle, then I'll create another one here at the bottom. Now this is because I just want the blue, I don't want the blue to be all over the image. I just want the blue, I just want to put a little bit of the blues in the image. That's why I've created all these points, so that I'm going to move this point at the bottom here. Now once I move this point at the bottom, it will give this bluish feel to the image. I don't know if you can notice. Now let me take it back and let me move it up again. As I've moved it up, you can see that there's this bluish feeling in the image. Yeah, I think this is okay. This looks good. Now this looks very perfect. Now at this point, looking at the image, I cannot really see the yellow in the image that much. Let me turn it off. As you can see now, let me turn it on again. And you can see that there is this blue. The blue has come to overshadow, or let me say it has come to complement with the yellow that was in the image. Let me turn it off again and I turn it on again, as you can see. So yeah, this is what I use the curves for. Now let me just close the curves. And what else? Now I want to create this vignettes width on this image, and to do that I'm going to use my color grading. I'm going to use my gradient layer. So I just press on my keyboard. I just press G on my keyboard, which is the shortcut for gradient. Then now before you add a gradient, you have to create a new layer. So I just come and tap on the create new layer, then I'll make sure that the new layer is selected. Then I'll just when I select my gradient already, I'll come to the top, that's here, select. Now I'm using the 2021 version of Photoshop, which in the gradient map it looks different from that of the previous versions. So what you want to do here is make sure that you select the option that has the foreground to be transparent. That's in this particular version, that's this middle one. I'll select this one, then I'll press OK. Like I said before, in the previous ones it doesn't look this same way. You will not find the options like this. It's a bit different, so just make sure you select the foreground that has the transparent foreground, then you tap your OK. Now at this point I'll make sure that I'm going to zoom out my image a bit. Then what I'll do next is that I'll bring my cursor to the middle, and then whilst holding on my shift key, I'll drag my cursor down to the end of the image and a little bit out of the image, then I'll release. Then you can see that a vignette has been created, but I feel like this is a bit too much for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the opacity until I feel like it's totally okay. So let me see, 75 is still too much, 45 is almost okay. Let me try 40. This looks kind of good. Let me still reduce it back. Let me try. Yeah, I think this is perfect. Yeah, so this is perfect, so I'll just stick with my 30. 30 looks good. Yeah, so now at this point I'm virtually and literally done with my color grading. As you can see, it didn't take me too long, probably because I already did the color grading before, so it has not taken me very long. But even if I was doing it for the first time, normally these are the steps that I take to do my color grading. I normally start with my levels. Then if I look at my image and it's too red or it's too pale, I play with my hues. That's the red in the hues, and I try to reduce or make sure that the skin color is exactly or is as natural as it can be. And I'll come to my the lookup. I don't use it all the time. I use it sometimes, not all the time, depending on the kind of the kind of outcome that I'm looking for in my image. Then that's when I use my lookup. Then after that I come to my color balance. Now I use a color balance because I like blue. I always like to give my image a touch of blue, and I do that by using my color balance. I always give my image, even if it's a little bluish feel, I always give my image a little bluish feel. Yep, that's what I use my color balance for. Then my curves too is to give it this dramatic I don't know how I'm going to put it, but this dramatic kind of, hazy, or is it wavy kind of, not wavy, I think it's hazy. Yeah, hazy kind of look. Now that's what I use my curves for. Yep, so now this is the whole process that I go through. And then later on again I add my my vignettes. Now this vignette is not all the time that I use it. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't, depending on, like I said, depending on what I want my image to look like, the final outcome of my image. So yeah, this is the whole process that I go through. Now if you also have another way of your color grading, or if you have any comments, or if you have a question that you would like to ask, or probably you have something to add, please just write it in the comment box, and I'll make sure that I respond to your comment. And yeah, we grow by learning from each other. We grow by teaching each other. If you have something that you think I will benefit, you could also write it in the comment section. So yeah, that's virtually everything that I do. So let me just put everything in a group. Levels. Now to put everything in a group, you make sure you select the very last layer. Then you come to the first layer that you want to put in a group. Whilst holding your shift key, you click on it. Then on your keyboard you press Ctrl G or Command G on a Mac. Now if I turn it off and I turn it on, if I turn it off and I turn it on.
So yes, now this is how I do my color grading. Very simple, very straightforward, but very good results. So you don't really have to do too much when you are doing your color grading. But then sometimes you would have to go the extra mile depending on the picture you're editing, depending on the mood, and a whole lot of stuff. But yep, that is just a simple way I do my color grading. I don't do too much of it. The most important thing is to have that natural feel of the picture, the natural feel of the image you are editing. We've come to the end of today's tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit the notification button, and yeah, you can share this video with someone you think that might find this video very helpful and interesting, and encourage someone to join the family. Keep on watching my channel, keep on watching my videos, and subscribe, and yep, let's have fun, learn photography together. See you in my next video. Have a great day.